am Lisa Casenti here with you today. I am super excited about having this interview with Jonathan Choufany. And Jonathan, before I introduce you, I'd like to just tell everyone just quickly about myself. So Lisa Casenti, I am an entrepreneur with a bachelor's in biology and a master's in special education. My career really shifted when I was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. And now what I get to do, which is very lovely, is I transform lives by restoring hope, health, and happiness. And part of what I absolutely love to do as an entrepreneur is to interview remarkable people that I have met along the way. And so many have remarkable messages. And as one such, Jonathan Choufany is one of those people. So Jonathan Choufany is a body language master, microexpressions trainer, and a TEDx speaker. So as a body language master, what Jonathan Choufany does is he has trained thousands of people on how to project more power with less words, how to build better rapport and assess truthfulness and credibility by using the powerful skills of nonverbal communication. So Jonathan, thank you. I am honored and humbled to be with you today.
Thank you, Lisa, and welcome everybody also from our friends and colleagues and everyone there on Facebook.
Perfect. And Jonathan, I would love to let everybody know where you are coming to us live from.
I am now in Lebanon, so I am near Beirut. From where I live here, I can see.
Yes, and I'm in New York, so I just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. It cut out for one moment. Say where you are. What can you see?
Yeah, I was saying that I can see the Mediterranean from here, and also the Beirut port and some airplanes that are going to the airport. So it's a good place also to see the sunset at the end of the day. So that's something I am really grateful for.
That is wonderful that you have. My apologies. I think my connection is a bit unstable, but Jonathan, I wish that we could see those views with you, but maybe you can post on Facebook for the viewers at a different time. Maybe you can post some of those views because we would love to see them. And I just think it's amazing that we have connected. We connected through LinkedIn and I've gotten to know you and now we are here. And before we start with the interview, I just want both of us to put out an intention out there in the universe that we are going to connect with people who need to hear your story, who are looking for you and the special skills that you can help people to attain. So I'm just putting that out there, and may many people reach out to you from this interview, and may this recording be passed on to many people. I believe it will be a wonderful, remarkable learning tool. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So with that being said, can you tell everyone here how you started? Actually, let's go back a little bit. Can you tell people in a couple of sentences? I know it's really hard, but if somebody asks you what you do, you're just out and about and they say, Jonathan, pleased to meet you. What do you do? What can you tell them in a brief sentence or two?
In a few words, I help people to build and sustain more authentic relationships. So this is in a nutshell. Yet at the same time, the skills that people need to achieve that are so complicated and so hard earned. So it's not something trivial to work on. And it took me quite a while. It took me many years to achieve what I've achieved throughout these years. And from where I began with some challenges in let's say, in my public speaking, in my communication with people. And from that point, I decided that I want to get answers. And unfortunately, I wasn't getting the answers from the people that I knew. So I went to to dig deeper and to do my own research so that I can really achieve what I want to achieve and to transform myself to a better version that I believe I am every day. And this is what everybody, I believe, is also doing, or at least trying to do. And there is something I also think about, that your future self is talking to you or communicating with you through the things that you really admire in life and through the things that you are really interested in. So if you act upon these feelings, if you act upon these inclinations, or let's say tendencies towards good things and some certain skills that you are interested in, so you will achieve many things that you really will appreciate later on. Yet, if you don't take this responsibility and don't act upon it, it will just be a small voice that is fading through time. And this is also sad, because people really have great potential, and this is why people their goal in life may be to get better every day, and this is what I did.
I love that, Jonathan. And if everybody really just woke up every day and had the thought that I just want to become better, I just want to grow, I want to have personal growth. And I think if everybody put that in their goals, the world would be a very different place. So I absolutely love that. And I really want to hear from you, because I think it's an interesting story how you came into this line of work.
Exactly.
What made you become interested in microexpressions and nonverbal cues?
Exactly. So back in 2007, I saw a documentary on TV, and that doctor was claiming that he can assess truthfulness and know if people are lying or not, especially where on airport securities that are really crucial for the security of the country. So he was saying that look at this face, we can detect the person's micro expressions and the hidden emotions behind of these expressions. And I said, wow, this is great knowledge, and this is a great skill. And also another question arose in my head: why isn't this common knowledge? So why don't people know it, and everybody will be safe and secure? So it's not just about judgment. It's about also, if you caught the liar once and twice and three times, so he will think 10 times before lying to you or anybody else. Because it's not about the punishment later, it's about the getting caught. If the person got caught, and this will be a great deal of punishment for him, and he will start to reflect upon what happened and to take the necessary actions and to make himself better with time. And this needs courage also, because people who lie, they are mostly afraid from the consequences. So if I can have the sufficient courage to face the reality and also to face the consequences of me telling the truth, that will be a great deal, because people tend to be afraid from telling the truth and not to be mistaken for somebody who is rude. So being polite and telling the truth can go along very well. And this is also something that people appreciate. So I appreciate if you tell me the truth in a polite way. And so, and also because you want me to update my map of reality. So if my map of reality isn't congruent with the real reality, it's sooner or later things will be really nasty, because people tend to comfort themselves with lies, so that just they don't work on this topic, let's say, or don't confront this person or something like that. Yet people who are really courageous and go and speak the truth, at least the truth that they think it is the truth. So, and at least they don't lie. So if you tell the truth, or your perception of the truth, this is something very important for you to articulate your message, and also to see where your message is on the logical spectrum. So is it really logical or not? So fast forward to 2013, I was working as a certified personal trainer, fitness instructor, and that's where I began to research body language after I got home at night. So I had questions. So why is this body language arising at this point? So at home, I was getting the answers of the body language interpretations. Later on, somebody gave me a gift, which was the work of Dr. Paul Ekman back in 2007. So it was the same doctor, the same work, the same thing. So I said, this is something interesting, how things got in the same direction eventually. So yeah, I watched the series. I watched the I watched the series, and later on I was really hooked and researched for real certificates in this. So how to become a professional. So I began with my first microexpression practitioner course. Later, I got my coach and trainer certificate, body language coach. I worked with Pioneers Festival through the Center for Body Language in Belgium, and I helped many pioneers and people who really had great inventions into articulating these messages verbally and non-verbally on the stage. And I was at the same time working on my own body language to enhance and to get rid of some of the fear of public speaking, and also developing my courage in order to go out and speak my own ideas and to transmit these ideas to other people. So I was working on both, on my interpretation skills and on my own body language expressions. So it was a good way. Later on, I got my lie detection, my first lie detection certificate from Florida, USA, and it was a great moment because I had this 2 years experience in body language, microexpressions, and then I ended up taking 98% on the test, on the lie detection test, after getting my certificate and everything that's related to it. So at that point, it was a milestone because the company offered me, so if you want to become our trainer in Lebanon. So it was a great deal, and I really appreciate it. Yet at the same time, I was afraid, because it's true that I know this knowledge and it happened to be really credible for me. Yet the question was, will I be able to transmit it to other people and to test it in public workshops? So it was the ultimate test at that time, because people will go to the workshop having in mind that this must be really genuine. So if it's not genuine, it won't be a good investment of my time, my resources, and my money. So it's something that should be of great value, and fortunately it was. So the workshops were successful, and I was also successful in these emotional detection and everything related to it. So yeah, I am grateful for that too. Later on, I was also it was a great presentation on my TEDx speech. It was a great speech also. I did my research, and the organizers also helped me with how to transmit my message in the way they like it to be transmit on the abiding by the TEDx rules and guidelines. So yeah, I've been featured also on many TV shows. TV, I think it's around between 60 and 80 interviews. And lately, I am 9 months from now. I am featured on a TV show, and I'm a regular guest, assessing the guest's body language and the emotional expressions on the word they are saying, and the ideas they are listening to. And it was great because uh, it was also a test for me during the live interaction. So it was a test of my abilities, also of my communication of the truth that I am finding in the body language, and also abiding by the structure of analysis that I do also. So I take, let's say, cluster of signs. I take the body language, the verbal, the voice, also tonality, the statement analysis, the also how to find the emotional fluctuations. So let's say you have, let's say, 50% of happiness and 50% of sadness. Let's say they both come out of your face. So yeah, it was a great thing. Also, communicating this message at the end of the episode was really uh, I can say a challenge, because it's not easy to be at the same time truthful and polite. So there is a fine line between being rude and being truthful, not to use the truth to hurt people, and not to be judgmental and take things in a lighter manner. So yeah, it was until now I'm not hurt, so that's a good thing. So yeah, because all the guests were and are politicians, famous people, big names in our country, and also around our country. So yeah, this is in a nutshell. I've been really fortunate, and also I worked hard. And all the people that are listening to us right now, I encourage them to not to follow their hearts, yet to follow their their um, to follow what they like in life, whether it was not just something related to business, it might be anything. So not to think about money, because money will come eventually, yet at the same time, there are sacrifices to make along the way. So if you really are enthusiastic about something, you might want to work over time for it, and also to wait until that thing flourishes and eventually give you the results that you want. Uh, so yeah, that's that's a brief of my story until now. I don't know if I talk way too much, and as an answer to your question.
Jonathan, you are not talking too much. This is about you. I have to say, it can be a little intimidating. I mean, I can't imagine the guests on that show, the politicians, the actors, how they respond, and to you were finding the truth. You were finding what is the actual reality, regardless the words, because you're looking at the nonverbal cues, you're looking at all of those things. And so I can't imagine they have to all be good sports to do this, because I have to say for me right now, truth be told, truth be told, public speaking is hard for me and I force myself to do it. But I'm sweating just at the prospect of, is he analyzing my body language and everything? But I think what you do is incredible, because if you think about it, there are people like me that we have a story to share, and we want to make sure that when we're sharing this story that is really important, something that we're passionate about. I mean, I help people in many ways if they're willing to listen to me, but it's important that I come off as genuine. I am a genuine person, you know my story, but just knowing that because of certain body language that I use or my expressions, that people may put walls up, that's good knowledge to have. And there's so many applications. When we were talking about the work that you do, there's so many applications. So I think what I'd like to ask you, and I'd like to chime in here, and I cannot forget about our audience. I'm not great with technology, so I'm going to forgive me for looking down, Jonathan, but I
Sure,
want to see what comments we have. We have
sure,
10
yeah.
comments, and I'm trying to, let's see. We have Nafisa that has
Oh,
joined us.
hello, Nafis.
I love Nafisa NK. She has joined us, and maybe we can talk a little bit. We could talk a little bit about her work, what she does, how I know that you're doing a collaboration right now, so we can talk about
Yeah.
some applications. Zach Clayton has joined us. I'm really excited to see. And I'm so excited to see Carmen Chan. Wow, so Carmen is one of my old coworkers. So if we can go into maybe applications of what
Yeah.
you do, because I know you have some courses. And one of the things, the reason I connected you with Nafisa, so Nafisa works with people who have gone through traumatic experiences in their life. And these have been life-changing traumatic experiences. And many people she works with have been women who have been in an abusive relationship, and they've broken free from this, but they're still struggling with the trauma. So you and I talked about an application as being, when there are people that have gone through traumatic experiences, it is really hard sometimes to open up and want to connect with other people and to know, is this person being truthful? So I think an application that you teach can really be for women and for people who are vulnerable, for them to just get an understanding more about when someone's speaking, how do you read between the lines and how do you know if a person's genuine? But can you talk a little bit to that? Like what would someone say, someone that is in that situation, what could they potentially get from your courses, from your work?
Exactly. So these people, they tend to because they are empathetic, because they are kind-hearted, because they are so as a consequence, they will be more susceptible to a certain type of other people that are really attacking them with these manipulative ways in order to get advantage of their kindness. So what they can do is also to balance their mind and heart. And what I teach people is to point out why the other person is lying. And if they are not lying, okay, they are telling the truth. I know that they are telling the truth because of this and this and this and this. So pointing out how people lie and how people tell the truth, and also baselining the individual to know if he or she is really telling the truth by asking a certain questions, by also communicating, because I also teach communication skills applied to lie detection. So how to keep the relationship and at the same time know the truth not just to know if the person is lying or not. So we want to know the truth behind the lie, and to get along with the other person despite everything. Because people, if somebody lied to you, so you want first to try to figure out things, so why he lied, or what can be a possible solution to the problem, rather than go into a fight and eventually the relationship will break, and it won't be a productive thing, or a good thing, or a practical thing for every relationship. And that's why people go into willful blindness and try to mask it off with other emotions. So yeah, back to the application. So these techniques, we empower, let's say, these women, or these let's say children, that they are not let's say aware of how people can lie to them, and not to fall into the same problems that, let's say, his father or her mother or something like that. So yeah, working on body language, so to know first the general image of the person, the general mindset, and also working as we go through the training into more specific things like facial microexpressions. They are like tiny muscle contractions that go in half a second or shorter sometimes. So it's very good to notice. And if you pay attention to people, they will tell you many things. So we are assessing the script that it's not being articulated. And this is also important in any relationship, because you want a person who is really understanding, who does understand you. So because if the person doesn't have this understanding, so sometimes you don't know your own emotions. You need somebody else outside of the frame to tell you and to give you this feedback. And this is, in my opinion, something that I worked with. So when I demonstrate something to a certain people in my workshop, they I've got many people after the workshop coming across and telling me some things that they have in their lives, because they found out that I can really know their emotions and to understand them. So people need somebody who just to understand what they are feeling, what their fears are, what their sadness are. So yeah, telling people that yes, on this topic you had this micro expression, let's say, of sadness. Okay, so where does this come from? So he or she can remember some, let's say, sad memories, or you had this anger emotion on this topic. So okay, so is it something productive? So you find it productive, or it might get as an obstacle to your success. So, and when the person knows the exact emotion that he has on a certain topic, or a certain thought, or a certain person, it will be easier for him or her to change and to adopt a different mindset. Because our and this is I forgot the name of the lady, the 91 years old lady that is with us. Can you
Hazel.
Hazel? Yeah. She says that our brain is like a garden and our thoughts are like flowers. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's the same thing, because our thoughts um, are, if we are not aware of them, it can be something of a way, an obstacle in our way. And sometimes we don't know it. And the frightening thing is that we don't know. In this let's say in workshop or series or workshops, I encourage people to stand in front of a mirror and think of a person and notice their own reaction when thinking or looking at an image of this person, or even to film, to take a short clip of them. So just to know the real emotions on these topics, about this person, about that person. So this will make people more aware and to know themselves more. And this also gave me more curiosity to work on personalities. So to know what are the personality traits that can manifest itself through body language. And now we can, let's say, profile people, roughly speaking, from these personality traits that are expressing themselves through the body language and facial expressions. So yeah, it's a great, and I'm really enthusiastic about what I do, and I believe this is a great the greatest component of success in anything you want to do, if you believe in it, and also if you make these sacrifices and take this responsibility. And that's also a great deal. That was a great deal for me.
Jonathan, thank you. I want to respond to some of the things that people are saying, and a couple of things that people are saying. And I also just want to invite our guests out there, if they have any specific questions for Jonathan, if you can type them in. I am not technically savvy to be able to bring you in at this point, but if you can type your questions, I would really appreciate it. And actually, I see a comment from Nafisa, and she's talking about that she really feels that your work can absolutely empower the women that she works with. And I'm so happy that you're going to be collaborating. And she talks about it's crucial that we learn to be true to ourselves so that we can see things as they are and make informed decisions from there. So that is so important. We need to know the true reality when we talk about the true reality, because a lot of times things are unsaid, and you talk to someone and you're not really sure what they're saying, if that is matching up with what it is that they're communicating nonverbally. So for example, even in my work, sometimes people seem excited, they'll say in their words that they really truly want to learn about what it is that I do, but I think they're being polite. And that is a difference. And I think that another application of your work is just people that are entrepreneurs, people that are in business, just learning when people are giving those cues. They're trying to be polite, but we don't, everyone, the one resource in the world that is limited really is time, right? So we don't want to waste anyone's time, and we don't want them wasting our time. So if we can use some of those skills to right away know, is the person truly interested? Are they being polite? Do they have another agenda? So I think these are good applications for your work, and just for us to, even when you talked about how do we feel about a particular person, for example, if there's someone that is going to interview a politician or an actor, and they might not even be aware of their own feelings about this particular individual. So doing what you said, looking at a picture of that actor, that politician, that author, and just kind of talking about them and seeing what are those micro expressions that are coming up. That's very, very telling. I love what you said about your work helping to people basically to communicate effectively, because they're communicating genuinely and it's creating deeper relationships. And I think that anything that we do in this world, whatever it is, it centers around creating those relationships. So how can you apply your work? Can you see applying your work to even romantic relationships within the family, people not beating around the bush and actually just getting to what they need? Can you see your work as impacting in that way?
Yeah, exactly. And I get a lot of feedback on this because many girls come to me to tell me, please tell me if this gentleman is lying or not through a video or something like that. So, and it is a responsibility. So I give my, let's say, my opinion about the matter. And also, it's a crucial thing because um, as you said, some people have hidden agendas, especially when it comes to intimate relationships. And because our emotions are at stake, and because we are more vulnerable in relationships, it's very important to empower ourselves with these skills just to balance mind and heart, not to dominate any component on another. So just to provide ourselves with practical skills and to be aware and with open eyes to see everything, especially before commitment. Because when once commitment is done, things tend to go really bad if big problems arise later on. So before committing to this person, you have a lot of work to do. Yet with these powerful skills of nonverbal communication, lie detection, body language, and so on, you can extract the truthful answers from the individual, whether it was with words or just body language. So let's take an example. So if I want my fiance, let's say, or before even getting to that stage, if I ask a girl if she wants, let's say, to have 5 kids, let's say, okay, and I see the reaction on her face and her body language, so I know it's not going to happen. Okay, so I am now more aware of the truthful answer, even though she said, "Yeah, we can talk about this later, and we can." So I know the real answer. So it's not that I am deceiving myself by saying, "Yeah, we can manage that later, and we can." No, that's, let's say, at this point, that's that. So yeah, that's also a good idea. If also there are some signs that are really red flags in any relationship. And we know that by the work of many psychologists, and especially when you see discussed on the face or contempt. So if you manage to locate these emotions on the person's face or body, so you can know, because these two emotions are like, they can tear apart the relationship. Because when you are disgusted from somebody, you are alienating yourself from him or her. Okay, also if you have a contemptuous attitude, so let's say you are bringing yourself up, as in, I am more superior than you, and this is also not, it won't work in a normal relationship. Of course, there are a lot of I don't know how to say it, uh, abnormal relationships, let's say, where people like to be dominated, or people like to dominate other people. Yet it's not the kind of relationships that are really healthy for both. So yeah, if they really want a collaboration and a true relationship, they might want to be sure that the other person is not displaying these kinds of emotional expressions, because they will be signs of bad thoughts that he or she has. So it's a big red flag to dig deeper on why the person is displaying these emotions, because nothing is without a reason. So everything is interconnected between the mind and the body. So we cannot differentiate between them. And also, if we know the person's baseline, we know how he or she speaks the truth and how he or she lies. So every person is, sorry, I must,
That's that's okay.
I, I have these, yeah, there are two here, two hairs from my, anyway, yeah. Yeah,
Eyelashes.
so I was saying that I was saying that yeah, people when
Relationships. We're talking
yeah, about relationships and how they can locate these emotions, and as they do that, they will have some sort of a healthy collaboration and healthy conversations, and this will get them in on good terms, let's say. And this must be done on a regular basis, on a daily basis, so that they update their maps, because it's kind of a sacrifice to put together two lives in one life. So, and at the same time not to be a tyrant and a, let's say, a slave. We don't want that also to happen.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I definitely see the value in this and how it can help people in the beginning of relationships. And so if you were to give any suggestions, let's just, if we can give a couple of practical suggestions just for people watching today, what might they be? And it could be possibly a suggestion when somebody is talking to another person or telling their story. What might be something that could help break down the walls and maybe make a person more open to hearing what they have to say? Could you give a couple of tips on that?
Yeah, sure. So if I want people, let's say, to lower their fences, I have to lower mine first. So if I am, let's say, a closed-minded person with closed hands and a retreated body, and I won't be giving the, I won't be, it won't be a logical idea to expect people to open up to me. So I need to take responsibility. And sorry for the hair here.
No,
I
no
don't know
apology
why.
to
I
you.
have this, I have this let's say, this problem always. Yeah. So when I lower my fences, okay, people will pick up on that. At the same time, I am being vulnerable in a way where balancing my mind and heart. And I'm not here talking about being naive. No, because at the same time I am well equipped, and I am thinking also about my strategy in communication. So it's not something that I'm doing aimlessly. So being open, having an open mind, and seeing the other person as a real, genuine person with emotions and with needs. So because many people, and you said about hidden agendas and so on. So let's say if they see a person and they are more things oriented, not people oriented, let's say, they will see the other person as let's say $100 bill, let's say. Okay, so it's just that if we connect, so it's because of that. I'm not interested in you, I'm interested in what you can give me. So this is also not the good approach, and not the approach that will help in communication. Also, it's so important to look at people uh, in a caring way. So, and people will pick up on that, whether they know how to interpret body language or not, because on the subconscious level, their minds will get this sign. So if it is good, I got a good feeling from this person or not. He's not somebody to be trusted. So I want also to practice my deep gazing skills. So am I somebody who is comfortable with eye contact? And I'm not saying here to stare in people's eyes, no, just to practice the long gaze and the look that is really caring, and you can also practice it in front of the mirror. So it's not something that you want to put your relationships at stake to do. Also your family members and many people around you. So it's just and what we found is that after doing this exercise for, let's say, 10, 15 minutes or 30 minutes, people will get to know each other just by eye contact without even speaking a single word. Because even if they are strangers, and I got that from my latest workshop. So two strangers, okay, they eye gazed for about 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. After, without any word, when I said, okay, time's up and we need to continue to another example, they just hugged each other, and they really connected on a deeper level. So I encourage people to do this exercise with their uh, uh, let's say significant other, somebody who is from their family or a really close friend, and just to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be framed in time. Let's say 5 minutes. It might get just 5 minutes or even 30 minutes or even more. I don't know. So because the longer you deep gaze with the other person, the deeper the connection will be, and you cannot understand it fully, and we cannot understand everything that's happening. Yet what we can understand, that our eyes are not just receivers, they are also projectors. They project emotions, they project thoughts, they project many things that we have in our mind and our body. So being comfortable with our body also is a big thing. At the same time, I want to do this exercise, and I want to relax my body and take a deep breath every, let's say, 1 minute. Because when I am really, let's say, well centered and also having the right mindset, I will be projecting the best eye contact possible. And this is also what I encourage people to do. So it's not just about to 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 make people more vulnerable. It's about understanding people. And if I do this exercise, I will go to another person, a real stranger, just to interact with him or her for, let's say, 10 seconds or 15 seconds or even a minute. My gaze can be this long gaze and the empathetic gaze and everything related to this. So yeah, it will be a great rapport building exercise to do, and also results can be fascinating, at least at the end of the exercise itself. So yeah, I don't know if these suggestions are useful. I hope also our friends on Facebook find it so.
I believe that they are. I believe I have some comments here, and I just want to ask our viewers before we end. So we have a few more minutes, and before we end, I just want to ask if anyone here on Facebook has any questions for Jonathan whatsoever. And Nafisa has an interesting comment. And I believe this has to do with when we are looking into either practicing the eye gaze in the mirror or even doing with another person. She was talking about it being like working on attracting the best for yourself. And she's saying, this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank everybody that's here. You have John Nestor watching. We have several people watching. I just want to thank everyone for being here, and thank even the people that are going to watch the recording later. And if you have questions for Jonathan, you can certainly comment after the recording and I will get them to Jonathan. So a couple more questions, Jonathan, and then I know you have, it's evening. It's actually quite late in Lebanon right now. I don't know if people know that. It's nearly 11 o'clock p.m., correct?
It's 7 to 10.
7 to 10. Okay, I was off by 1 hour. Either way, we are very grateful that you sacrificed this nighttime to be with us here.
It's a pleasure. Sure. It's a pleasure.
I love the eye gazing activity. I'm going to do that. And I want to say that it's really interesting because the things that you look at, so my background as a special educator, I primarily worked with children on the spectrum of autism. So a lot of the things that we focused on were getting them to look at those nonverbal cues as part of the whole communication component. But the interesting thing is you said we are not taught this in school, and that is 100% true, unless perhaps you were with a special educator or with a speech and language teacher who's going to work on that piece of communication. We don't learn these pieces, or maybe if you took a public speaking course, but these are essential. And I think one of my last questions is going to be, what are some things that people can look for in order to protect themselves? Because I have to tell you, Jonathan, there are some times that somebody might come into a room and the entire energy shifts, and I might feel something in my gut and I can't put my finger on it, but I know if that ever happens, I know, look for the exits, I know, just seek to see where the exits, where's that person, what's happening. So what is it in my gut that is, I don't even know what it is. What am I seeing? Or what are some things that we can see just as people going about normal daily life that we can see that are big red flags that should tell us something's happening?
Yeah, exactly, because our brains work in such a fantastic way, because and many times we don't even know what's happening. So as you said, we look at somebody, yet we have this bad feeling. So where does this come from? So maybe the person has the some of the traits that somebody we knew earlier in our lives and hurt us. So, or even he reminded us from with, let's say, some character, a bad character in a movie or even in our childhood. So, and also he or she can also have these facial and body traits that can be interpreted as more hostile or even more angry, or it resembles some kind of shapes that are really threatening. At the same time, some other people. So if you see like a rounded face, it will be easier for you to build rapport and trust with this person, because rounded shapes are more smooth and fluid, and it can't cut let's say triangulated. Yet at the same time, the large jaw lines and the triangulation on this level, on the jaw level, is a good predictor of somebody getting a lot of interest from the other, let's say from girls, let's say, because also girls have this tendency to pick from let's say competent men. And competent here means that he can be a protector. He can also go and work hard in order to bring money, to bring. So this is the primal instinct of the in the assessment of the girl. Having said that, yeah, we just have to articulate why we are feeling this. So in the body language and micro expressions, we highlight why are you interested in this person? Why did you have this bad feeling towards that person? So we are elevating the awareness level from the subconscious level into the conscious level, so we can talk about it. We can say why we are feeling this way, just by knowing what is this feeling, and considering also the facts that we are seeing in the image, or even our interaction with the other person.
Interesting. So next time that happens, I'm going to be reflecting on that, on why I get that feeling in my gut, and I'll have to come back to you and let you know about that. Very interesting.
Yeah, sure, sure.
And I love that you talked about a round face, and I don't think I have a round face, but it's interesting you say that because children with their round faces and their chubby cheeks, you know, you just we have this you know, you have this feeling, you're drawn to children, right? Because of that. So it's interesting you talk about the round faces being very
yeah, children with big eyes, round shapes, and short, relatively short legs, and so on. So yeah, it's more on the cute spectrum than anyone.
Absolutely. I just have two more questions, Jonathan, and we will wrap
Sure.
this up. And I'm
Sure,
checking
yeah.
Okay. So Nafisa is saying she cannot lie with her facial expressions. I cannot either. Even when I try to tell a joke or something, I start laughing right away. But I sometimes what's interesting is when somebody says something, their facial expression in response tells a lot. So sometimes when I say something, I can see somebody's not even saying anything, but it's their facial expression that lets me know what it is that they're thinking. But the last two questions I have for you is I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on little white lies? So in the US, we call little white lies that really don't necessarily hurt someone, but you're not telling the truth. And sometimes it's because you want to be polite. So when I think about, do I want to tell a little white lie? And I'm even afraid to tell you white lies. I will think about, I got this from a Fancy Nancy episode. My daughter watches Fancy Nancy. When you tell someone something, is it the truth? Number one. Number two, is it kind? And number three, is it necessary? So if somebody's going to ask me if I like their key lime pie, but I really don't like it, it's necessary for me to tell them that I don't like their key lime pie? I mean, is it really going to harm them? So what are your thoughts on little white lies?
Yeah, great question. Great question. And I certainly believe that the truth is the best pathway, yet at the same time, not using the truth to hurt others. So how can we put this into let's say your example? So let's say you are invited, and you've been offered a pie or something like that. So if you can say to the other person that, let's say, I like the texture, I like this, the color, I like that you put this in it. I can't feel the congruency between the both. Let's say this cream and this material, and I want at the same time to know more how you did it. So you are breaking down the truth, so that you are telling the truth at the same time you are telling other truths with it. So it's not just to capitalize on I don't like it in general. So I like this aspect, I like this. I may not feel that these two flavors, let's say, go on for me at least, I don't know for maybe somebody else will like it. I don't know. So I say, I like this, I like that, and I like how that was made. Also, my taste buds, let's say, couldn't feel those two flavors in a good way, let's say. So this is a kind of, and you are polite. So you are polite, and also the other person will appreciate it, because you are not just, you are acknowledging that he or she put this work into this, and actually you liked this and this and this. That means that they are successful, and they could, let's say, bring you some joy in what they did. So it was not, everything was, let's say, not good. So it wasn't, let's say, burnt and so it's not 0 and 1. It's not like white or black. We can, as I said, we can break the truth into multiple set of truths. And just by laying this to the other person in a polite way, I believe he or she will appreciate it more than to just to give them a non-authentic, let's say, feedback. At least this is what I find impressive and what I find interesting, because let's speak the truth in a polite way and see what happens. And what will happen after that will be the best way possible to go with the relationship, with the conversation. And this is what I believe. And I don't know if anybody, because if you say your mind, you will feel better. So, and this is what I believe. If you don't, something will be kept inside, and you will struggle with that later, or you will go and tell other person that you didn't like that cake, and you had to told them a white lie or something like that. So I believe that's the perfect way to articulate what you saw, what you experienced, and also in a polite way. So I believe this is a good combination.
I agree. I'm going to use that. I really love that technique. I will say one of the weaknesses that I have is that I tend to be a people pleaser. So I always struggle when somebody asks me something, and I don't want to tell the little white lies, because like you said, even though we think that they're harmless, there are consequences. There are consequences. For example, the key lime example, who knows, maybe one day I could have 10 key lime pies from that person, and now I've got to eat all of them. And that's, but I am saying this publicly, that I am going to work on using your technique, because I think it's a wonderful one. And as we close, I want to thank you for all of your time. You are a remarkable person. You have a beautiful story. I think your work is exceptional, amazing, and it really has the potential to change the world, to change relationships. It's so remarkable. So how can people get in touch with you?
Sure. They can connect with me on Facebook here, Jonathan Choufany, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So they can follow my accounts, and also we can, if anybody wants more information about, I have, let's say, 120 coaching hours that I can provide from body language, lie detection, personality profiling, face profiling. So all these communication skills. If somebody is really interested, we can do a Zoom private meeting, so I can demonstrate and I can give them more details about it. And also on YouTube, I have a long list of videos that they can also see my work, my interviews on TV. Also, they can see my interpretations for many international events that went in the politics area, and many others. So yeah, looking forward for everyone to connect, and I really appreciate this interview. And also I want to thank you, Lisa, for this. It was great, and yeah, I hope it was beneficial for people watching this.
I 100% believe that it was, Jonathan. Thank you so much for honoring me with this time. It was, I kept you quite a while. I could talk to you for so long. So with that, I just, again, thank you, Jonathan, for being here. Thank you to everybody who showed up. And I see my friend Cindy came in. Cindy Perez, I'm so excited that so many people came to see you, and many more I know will watch this recording. So if anything that Jonathan said resonates with you, please reach out to him. And if anything that I've said, feel free to reach out to me too. And with that, I wish many blessings to all, and thank you for being here. And I'm going to ask you, Jonathan, to stay on for 1 minute while I figure out how to stop this Facebook Live. But goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Sure. Bye bye.